Greetings! If you are a woman in your 40s, you are most likely in perimenopause, unless you experienced what's called a premature perimenopause, which would be experiencing that in your 30s. But did you also know that if you're in your 40s, you have a very high likelihood of also experiencing fibroids? Today, I'm going to be talking to you about 5 essential things to know about fibroids while you are in perimenopause. Hi, my name is Danett Bean. I'm a doctor of Eastern medicine who specializes in women's health, here to help navigate your perimenopause and menopause journey. And I believe that it can be a really wonderful time if we have the right information. And traditional Eastern medicine has been assisting women with their health for thousands and thousands of years with really great remedies. And I do believe in an integrative approach. So following what your Western medical doctor has to say and having an integrative team. So let's get to it. So number one of the 5 essential things to know is that most women are likely to experience fibroids during perimenopause. So I say this just based off of the statistics in terms of age wise. So between the ages of 40 to 50, that's the average age of women, for women to be in perimenopause, and the highest group to also experience fibroids. If you are African American, by the time you're age 49, it's most likely there's a 84% of African American women by the age of 49 will have fibroids. That means only 16% of us will not. So that this is a time in which there's a lot of hormonal fluctuations, and so having fibroids during that time is one of those things. So I think it's really important to know. It's like perimenopause is enough, but wait, there's more. Fibroids, this is a time where fibroids are likely to happen as well. Number 2 of 5 essential things is to keep an eye on heavy bleeding. Having heavy bleeding does not mean that you have a fibroid, but it is important to keep an eye on. It's important that you are in contact with your gynecologist or your women's care practitioner, because having a high heavy bleeding can be a sign of fibroids, but like I said, it doesn't have to be. But people who have fibroids sometimes experience heavy bleeding, and even if you don't have a fibroid but experience heavy bleeding, it's something really important. We say that, and everything that I'm saying is from an Eastern medical standpoint, we say that the blood that the blood is deeply related to what we call yin energy, which is controls a lot of what we experience in perimenopause. It's a key factor in it. And so we don't want to be losing blood because it's a precious substance. It can affect our yin energy, which is really important in perimenopause, and then in menopause, and postmenopause. And then also when you experience heavy bleeding, you're more likely to have anemia, and there are statistics that show that people with anemia are more likely to have cardiovascular events. So if you have heavy bleeding, make sure that you are having that addressed, and just, not hoping that it's going to stop. Like, make sure that you get yourself checked out. Number 3 is have a consistent way of having emotional release and stress management. So in traditional Eastern medicine, we say that the area of the womb can be subject to the circulation there being impacted by stress and by constrained emotions. So it's really important. And this time during the 40s, like, I used to think like, oh, that's where you're coasting. Absolutely not. I've learned personally, and then also in just speaking with patients over the years. I've been in clinical practice for more than 22, 23 years, clinical experience for 25 years, there's a lot that happens in the 40s, whether you are a mother, taking care of children, children going off to high school, college, this sandwich generation, caring for all your parents or older adults, projects at work, financial pressures. There's just a lot that can go on, especially in the 40s. So having a daily practice, whether it's meditation, yoga, I'm a big fan of Qigong, whatever it is, walks, but stress management and emotional release has to be key when you're in when you're in perimenopause, and it's a very important thing to know in terms of how that can impact fibroids as well. Number 4 is, if you have fibroids and they're causing you issues, consider, so make sure that you're working with your medical team, and consider possibly having them removed. Now, acupuncture, which I do, can be very helpful with improving circulation, can be helpful towards preventing fibroids. In certain instances, acupuncture and herbs can be helpful with reducing the size, but that gets very complicated because most people, by the time they seek help, they have multiple or the size is larger. So a lot of this stuff comes back to like things that were written like thousands of years ago, where it was the size of a robin's egg is how it's actually listed in the literature, that if it's larger than that, which then the acupuncture and the herbs are less likely to be effective. And in my clinical experience, it seems that a lot of women feel like it's some personal failure if you have fibroids, or you know it's recommended to get them removed. It's not. A lot of this are things that we inherited, and there wasn't tons of research on this, like from long ago, in the U.S. and where based off of mainstream medicine, even though more is happening. So the best thing is, and then some people, there's a whole thing in terms of women having, hysterectomies being pushed on them. I think it's really important to have a gynecologist, a women's care practitioner that you have a good relationship with. There are plenty of women who get fibroids removed and are able to keep their uterus, and I think that we were born with our uterus. It's really important in terms of our hormonal management and our hormonal system. Some people who get hysterectomies go into an early menopause and have different issues. So, I think that it's really important to not blame yourself, to have good conversations with your GYN and women's care practitioner, and if need be, consider having them removed, keeping your uterus based off of, keeping that, and then working preventively to help them to not come back. But the main thing is that if you have fibroids and they're causing you issues, it's really important to not wait and get the care that you need. Yes. And sometimes there's a conversation. Well, let me back up. So we'll save that for another time because there's a lot I could say on that. But the key thing for number 4, with essential things to know about fibroids when you're in perimenopause, is if you have a fibroid or fibroids and they're causing you issues, make sure that you have a trusted medical team and that you are working with them and not blaming yourself or having shame if it's causing you issues to have the fibroid or fibroids removed. And there's things that can be done on the preventive side. And number 5 is inflammation. So knowing that inflammation is the enemy, so decreasing inflammation can be a really powerful way to help reduce the effects of fibroids, help towards preventing fibroids, and also can play a role during perimenopause. So, we throw around this term a lot, inflammation. This is when we're dealing with like an acute inflammation, it's something that can easily be seen. It's something that's red, hot, swollen. But on the inside, when something is systemic, it can be more challenging. So I think in general, it's good to follow eating an anti-inflammatory diet. There are tons of books out there on the market about anti-inflammatory diets. Cooking with turmeric can be a wonderful way to help address inflammation, but that's not enough. I like working with a concentrated one, and I actually twice a year do a 10-day program with women who are in perimenopause and also women who want to prevent fibroids. Um, to to We do a 10-day program that really drives down inflammation. I'll be doing one next month. So before then, I'll put information into social media, and if you're on my newsletter list, you'll get information about that as well. So yeah, so those are 5 essential things to know about fibroids while you're in perimenopause. If you would like more information towards helping to address fibroids, um, there's research that came out within the last month on something that Eastern medicine has known for a long time, that there are things that we can do towards the prevention of fibroids. So now it's easier to say that because that is accepted in the mainstream, but it's something that traditional Eastern medicine is known for a moment. But if you're interested in getting some more information towards preventing fibroids, you can go to the description or the link in the bio and download my free fibroid prevention guide. And also, I have an upcoming workshop online Saturday, August 23rd on Our Moment Is Now. Tools to navigate perimenopause using Eastern medicine. So you can contact me in the link in the description if you're interested in that. It's going to be real talk and things towards helping our longevity. So take good care and love being a woman. Till next time.